Yo guys, welcome back to BoreDraw. We're back in the studio.
Look how tanned he looks.
That's it, man.
Come on,
nice
my guy's been tanning down in Cornwall.
Man. Just straight in the sunbeds. That's
you love
one.
to see it. Back in the studio.
Yeah, we're back in the studio and it's good. It's good to be back. No more weird online shenanigans for a while anyway.
Yeah, we'll ignore that Discord recording that we did the other
But we
day.
got a midweek one this week. A midweek.
You're going to see a lot of our faces this coming week.
I mean,
football's coming thick and fast.
I'm not complaining. I love midweek games. It hits different. But speaking of hitting different, get straight into it. Man United, back-to-back wins.
Yeah, and their first away win in a hot minute. I think they were on 8 consecutive away non-victories. I don't know if they were all losses or whatever, but they hadn't won away in a hot minute. So 1-0 away at Southampton, not the most convincing result you've ever seen, but that's 6 points out of 6 in the last 2.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah, beating Liverpool and in Southampton away is, 6 points is 6 points, and this early in the season, it's all about getting points on the board and being up there.
It is indeed.
Yeah, it wasn't the most impressive performance, but Southampton actually weren't that bad either.
Yeah, I think both of the teams looked average, in my opinion. Like, no one really overly deserved to win. It was quite a neck and neck game, but obviously Man United had just got more quality on the pitch, like Bruno Fernandes, Eriksen, Sancho and all that. But for me, the main talking points are not even in the game. It's just coming out. It's off the field. It's kind of Man United now have got 2 wins in a row. Pre the Liverpool game, I can imagine them just going out and buying man left, right and centre to try and sort out their troubles. Now their only link really is Anthony for 100 million. What do you say on that?
And Darlow, is it Darlow or Dubravka they're trying to sign?
Oh, and Dubravka for goal.
As a backup. Yeah, so I think, do you know what? You can start to see the sort of identity that Ten Hag wants to implement is starting to work now. And whether or not they're going to keep it with like a De Gea who still can't play out from the back or what, maybe they're just going to adjust the formation a bit or adjust the tactics and play out, but from like further up in their half, you don't know. But you can see the ideas and sort of like the mentality that he wants to impose upon his players. It's actually coming through a bit. But yeah, I mean, bringing in the Casemiro is only going to bolster their team because he's a fantastic player.
I think what he does is he allows the like of Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen, because my problem with Man United at the moment isn't even the wingers. Like Sancho, I don't really like Elanga, but he was really good against Liverpool and pretty decent. So he's not a problem. Rashford, if he can get back into good form, is just an absolute player, and so is Martial. So the wingers aren't the problem. You can bring in Anthony, but my problem for them is centrally. And I don't know if Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen are enough of a presence centrally for them to be competing with the big boys at the top of the league.
But bringing in Casemiro,
it allows them to play a bit more higher, exactly that, without the fear of kind of getting countered on constantly.
They don't have to do as much of that defensive work,
But for me, you want a ball-playing midfielder. Frankie de Jong would have been ideal, and
I don't think that's going to happen anymore, is it? He's been linked with Chelsea and Liverpool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good result for United. They've just got to keep it up, basically. And like you're saying, centrally is an issue. I think Rashford's played as their main striker for the last couple of games.
Yeah.
And he's done quite well. But if you've got an injury to Rashford, then it's Martial coming in. And then it's like, ooh, I mean, if Cristiano stays, obviously they got that as an option.
Yeah.
But whether
Can't see him staying,
yeah,
surely.
that's it. But apparently he's got a big money offer from Saudi Arabia, like ridiculous. I think most expensive deal ever in sports history. But I don't think that goes along with what he's sort of looking for. I think he still wants to be competitive and play at the top level.
Yeah, I think the main thing for him is Champions League football.
Champions League, yeah, he's a Champions League man. But yeah, it's a good win for United. Yeah, another good win for Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton,
undefeated.
Yeah,
still.
They look really good. So both of these teams are undefeated coming into this game, Brighton and Leeds. Leeds fresh off the pumping Chelsea 3-0. So both of them looked in good form, and kind of like the Southampton Man United game, it was neck and neck. They're both creating chances. Both of them have opportunities to win the game. But I think defensively, Brighton looks... I didn't even know this until I was doing some looking into their form. They haven't conceded a goal yet. That's mental.
Have they not?
No goals. That's fucked.
That's mental, especially because they lost a defensive midfielder in Basuma and Cucurella
haven't conceded a goal this season yet.
Yeah, and they played.
I'm going into game week 5.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. It just goes to show what good job Graham Potter is doing.
Yeah, he can lose. Like you said, best defensive midfielder, one of their best defenders. Season before that, lost Ben White. They lose arguably their best player every year and somehow get better.
Yeah, I think I've been really impressed with like a few players. Trossard, we know how good he can be.
Good. Yeah.
I think Danny Welbeck has come on leaps and bounds from like a sort of like fall off period. When he's come to Brighton, he's actually just kicked on.
Yeah, 100%.
Really impressed with him. Adam Lallana as well was really dangerous in their game against Leeds. But the man for me at the minute, Pascal Grosch, he's unbelievable. I think he scored 3 goals in his last season, and I think he's got 3 already this season.
Yeah, he's looking at. For me, I think it's because of Caicedo in the midfield. He can play a bit further forward because last season Gross tended to be the deepest midfielder alongside Basuma, but now Gross can play a bit more further forward, and I think going forward is where he's like best suited because he's got that knack of kind of having so much time on the ball and always finding the right pass. His kind of football IQ seems to be very high, and I don't think he got enough opportunity to display that last year. And he seems to be, playing really well.
Yeah, he's doing really well. And I'm all for Graham Potter's project working out because, I mean, them Leeds, even like Fulham, are doing really well, and I think they all look like quite tidy outfits. So, impressive times for them, exciting times.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're a Brighton fan, it's only up.
Yeah, my only fear if you're a Brighton fan if one of the big teams loses their manager and they come knocking for Graham Potter.
Yeah, I mean, I think there will be a period in time where like Brighton might lose a couple in a row, and then you get the questions asked like, oh, maybe this is where they're weak because they haven't really been found out yet. But you got to stick through those times because Graham Potter will have an answer for it because he just is that good.
Yeah, he's a good manager. You mentioned in there that Fulham look like a tidy outfit. So they played against your boys this weekend, and Arsenal won 2-1 in so it was a good game, a game in which Arsenal dominated most of the ball, and I think in the grand scheme of things probably deserved to come out with the win. But there's a lot of kind of like talking points externally from this game, and kind of like in just football kind of like football culture at the moment. Yeah. There's a lot of talks about
take the reign on this. This is something Roz is very passionate about.
I'm fucking rattled, mate, by Richard Keys, who is a renowned sexist and a bit of a cunt. Sorry, so I'm rattled. And so basically, him on being sports. Don't know how he's got a job these days. To be fair, he's a dinosaur.
Didn't get kicked off Sky Sports.
Yeah, for being a massive sexist.
Yeah,
but so how he's got a job in primetime football is beyond me. But so he said along the lines of, I don't know why Arsenal are celebrating. They've done nothing yet. They've beaten no one yet. Blah, blah, blah. And then Laura Woods, one absolute queen, came out on TalkSport and kind of shot him down. Obviously, she's an Arsenal fan, so she was a bit loaded in her opinion, which so am I. But basically, when they were talking about why Arsenal celebrating, there's so many reasons for why Arsenal celebrating. Firstly, they panned to Gabriel, who was on his knees kind of like cheering.
Because he obviously gave away the mistake for the Mitro goal. Which he got a bit shafted because the ball came in high to him from the right back. He had to take it down and Mitro's on his heels. Mitro's not a small lad either. And he just gets it caught in his feet. Mitro nicks it away and he manages to slip it under Ramsdale.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, to be fair, whilst it's his fault, it's not the most horrific howler ever.
And like, let's say it is his fault. And that happened in like the 60th minute, and you've almost cost your team their perfect start to the season. So for Arsenal to go get an equaliser, and then for him to get the winner in the 86th minute, why on earth would you not celebrate that? You've in the back of your mind since you made that mistake, you've been like, shit, I've cost my team their first loss of the season. I'm going to drop points and it's going to be my fault. So for you to then go win the game for your team, why the fuck would you not celebrate?
I mean, we've seen as well in like specifically the Arsenal behind the scenes documentary, All or Nothing, how much like a mistake like that means to a player. Look at Tavares with those 2 mistakes versus Liverpool, and he was basically out of the team then. Yeah, and, like, I'm not saying Gabriel would have got kicked out of the team for that, but like these players play because they've lot to play, and like Arteta's generated such, and this is probably at every club though, they've generated such an environment where winning mentality is king.
Exactly,
and to make a mistake like that, but then to go on and score the winner. It's like
it's massive.
You should not be putting players down, or the fans, or anyone. Like,
so point 2, They pan to the fans, and the fans are celebrating. Why the fuck? Laura Wood's kind of summed this up perfectly. They're paying fucking however. Arsenal got one of the most expensive ticket prices in the country.
In a cost of living crisis.
They are allowed to go there and celebrate their team winning. What if you're like a 10-year-old kid, this is your first game watching Arsenal, you've never been there before, and you've just seen your first win? Are you supposed to not celebrate?
I just don't get this mentality behind, like, shooting fans down for celebrating. Yeah. I don't get, like, even over celebrating. A win's a win. It's a London derby, and you come from 2-1 down, from 1-0 down to win 2-1.
Exactly.
And like, the world is so full of negativity at the minute, yeah.
And
like, it's people who are struggling to get by, like, and you're shooting them down for celebrating a football result. Like, how in any way does that affect you?
Literally. And
like, it doesn't make any sense.
My final point, and this is where Graham Souness chimed in. He's an absolute cunt and all. He was like, Arsenal, they haven't played anyone yet. Their toughest games are to come, which they are. Like everyone's. If you haven't played Man City and Liverpool, your toughest games are to come.
You can only play what's put in front of you.
Exactly that. Arsenal have played Fulham, who have come out and dominated Liverpool, drew 2-2. Then they went away at Wolves, drew 0-0. And then against a good Brentford team, they beat them 3-2.
You beat Palace.
So Fulham, on their own, they're not
a bad outfit.
A bad outfit at all, and shouldn't be kind of like pegged as like an automatic dub. And then, like you said, we played Crystal Palace, who at the time, it was a 50-50 game, and we came out 2-0 winners. And everybody kind of was like, oh, don't know if that's a good result for Arsenal. Of course it's a fucking good result to go away at Palace and win 2-0.
First game of the season as well. Like, you're live on Sky Sports. You got to set the precedent.
Literally.
And you dominated for 40 minutes, and then you managed to see the game out.
Exactly. Then they went to Anfield, Palace, battered Liverpool, and were unlucky to come out in a 1-1 draw.
And then they got shafted the other day against City.
And exactly that. They went to the Etihad, battered them for 45 minutes.
Got a good goal disallowed. And should have had Haaland sent off.
Bingo. So, yes, we haven't played City. Yes, we haven't played Liverpool. But we've played decent teams and we've beaten decent teams. Everyone in this league, probably minus Bournemouth, hate to be that guy, are decent outfits, and there's no certain W's at all in the Prem.
Yeah, I know. And just like, there is no reason for these, like, because Richard Keys as well, was he the Donny that said it about when you beat Brentford or drew against Brentford or something, and you were celebrating? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get this mentality. Like, football, we're lucky it comes around once a week, and sometimes even twice a week. A lot of people live for the weekend, man. They're here to watch their teams play. They get through the work week and they're like, oh, that's it. I can watch Arsenal play, or I can watch Palace play, or Everton, whoever. And no matter if you're Arsenal and you're playing like Harrogate and you beat them 4-0, celebrate. A win's a win.
Yeah, literally. Like
just
you
enjoy it.
Pick your team to enjoy the good and the bad.
What is the point of football if it's not there to enjoy?
Like Laura Woods was saying, Arsenal have been the banter club for like the past 10 years, and we've held that L. So now that we're kind of getting out of that banter club era and we're starting to get dubs, we're starting to play well, because we held that L of being the banter club, we're allowed to hold the W of being decent at the moment. And it's just the fact that like the people like Richard Keys, who are absolute dinosaurs, are still given a platform to spout sexism and just shit. That's my nutting.
Yeah, just get them out.
Yeah.
Get them out, yeah.
I won't carry on too much about Arsenal. Good dub, 4 wins out of 4, not complaining. Big weekend, a big few days. We've got Villa, who are looking a little bit shoddy, and then we've got Man United. So,
Manchester.
Yeah, big few games coming up for Arsenal. But
before we take a break, should we quickly talk about the absolute drumming that Bournemouth and Scott Parker took?
Do you see the video of Klopp go up to Scott Parker and kind of pat him on the shoulder at like 8-0? I was like, as nice as that is like unfathomably patronising.
So you're a team that's gone to the Premier League, right? So you've got a little bit of quality about you. I know the difference, the gap between the top of the Premier League, where Liverpool are, and the top of the Championship is massive, right?
Yeah.
But you're a professional football team, okay? And you go 4-0 down, you think...
You shut up shop, mate.
Maybe we shouldn't have gone to a back four after playing a back five for the last like 4 games or whatever against one of the best attacks in the league. And maybe at 4-0 down, to save ourselves some mental anguish, we should maybe shut up shop, maybe go back to a back five, put on a couple of DMs and then try to get a couple of goals on the counter or something.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's just, for me, like parking the bus has this kind of like negative overtone, and it is kind of like Brexit football is a bit dead. But like you're saying, if it gets to 4-5-0, you've got like the psychological kind of costs. If you get battered heavy, they're going to linger. You're going to be like a laughing stock for a while.
I mean,
you need to shut up shop and just.
It's happened to Southampton twice. Like,
yeah, mate. It's
like with their
nightmare.
was it 8-0 and 8-2, whatever. Leicester also got battered, didn't they?
Yeah, 9-0.
Yeah, so I mean, it does happen, and clubs do tend to bounce back from it. But they're like established clubs.
Yeah, it's not.
You've
good
got
look.
a team like Bournemouth who have really struggled like to show any quality this season, and I don't see it getting better. They haven't had a fantastic window.
Conceded 16 goals in the last 3 games.
It's like if you're playing FPL, yeah,
That's
target Bournemouth,
mate.
Yeah, just whoever's got Bournemouth, get them in, get their best goal scorer in, and captain them every week.
Can we talk about Salah quickly?
Yeah.
Is there a problem there?
Do you know what? I think
We'll talk about it more in like an FPL video, but he is starting to stink it up a little bit.
Do you know what though? I mean, Luis Diaz is obviously looking like the pick.
Yeah.
Mandem, triple captain Bobby Firmino. Either they're time travellers or they just read the game better than
he's one of those players, like, you knew he was going to start because obviously Nunez is out and so is Jota. But, like, he picks and chooses whenever to have, like, he'll get a hat-trick a season, but it's just, like, hard to guess what game will get a
Yeah, but yeah, in terms of Salah, I think he had, like, 1.5 XG and the entire Liverpool team had 2. Yeah. And yeah, he should have scored. I think on another day, he comes out of that game with 4 goals.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
he's one of those guys.
You don't score that many goals in the Premier League for as many seasons as he has and just fall off a cliff. It doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean?
So you're saying stick with Salah?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's not going to get dropped from Liverpool.
Nah.
Because they've had a stinky start to the season. But in those stinky games, he's kind of been probably their most attacking, like most threatening player anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, he didn't get a goal in a 9-0 win, which is probably it's ridiculous. But like I say, in another day, they beat him 9-0. He probably gets 4 of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? Or they win 12-0. Like, who knows?
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't think it's time to worry about Mo Salah. I think he's got quality. I mean, look at Son. He hasn't scored, has he?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, and we know how much quality he has. Sometimes it just doesn't start. Harry Kane, famous for having like struggling to score in August. I know he scored quite a few goals this season already, but like people don't like miscount him. He's not out the window.
I think Salah, he's one of those games. It's like when you like think about it too much and you start trying too hard, stuff doesn't come off for you. And I think it might have just been one of those days. He'll come back and
yeah,
he's one of those guys though. He'll go harder games.
He'll go like
loads.
13 games in a row and score each one and break the record. Like he just will. But yeah,
quick break.
Yeah, we'll do a little quick break and we'll be back to talk about Man City Palace.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll to Man City Palace after this one. From talking about a man who is struggling for form, we move on to a man who's perhaps the most in form.
Yeah.
We're talking about none other than Erling Braut Haaland.
What man?
Just all right. Before we get on to him though, I just want to talk about Palace.
Yeah,
Palace. So the first goal, Eze has a free kick, whips it into a dangerous area, and it bounces off Kyle Walker onto Stones, misfoots Edison, goes in the net. It's a lucky goal, but also you have to win the free kick in the first place, and you have to put it into that area.
What I noticed about that game, specifically the first half, is that any ball into City's box, Palace were dominating City's back line.
Yeah,
all the time.
Their set piece has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Eze's delivery as well,
really good.
Yeah, he's looking like a player in form. Get him in the Qatar squad, Gareth.
He actually looked really good that first half. He was bossing it, mate. And with no Zaha in the Palace team, he had to step up and be that leading
creative spark, the main like creative player, and for me he was. And then I just like
Anderson's goal from the second.
Another
second goal corner.
Eze puts it on his head for him, and it's a great header out. Joachim Anderson is one of the best centre backs outside the top 6 for me.
Yeah, player. I reckon he'll get snatched up.
Yeah, I think he's a phenomenal player. Just goes to show how good Palace's recruitment has been over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, and then pretty quickly after the second goal, Edison, I think obviously in his mind he's like, shit, we're 2-0 down, we need to speed up the play and try and get some goals. Rolls the ball out, and who is it? I think it's AU or Edouard's in front of him.
Yeah.
And they touch the ball, lay it off to, I think, the other one of AU or Edouard, and they finish it.
It's a goal.
It's a goal. For me, I saw Jermaine Genius, who's a clown. He came out and said that it's a foul because Edison hadn't fully relinquished the ball.
He has.
He had.
The ball's rolling.
And keepers are overly protected anyway.
He was not under any pressure. Like, it wasn't like he was getting like shoulder barged or anything, like forced into making the throw. He decides, oh, let's release this quickly, and thinks he's got enough about him to get it past the player.
That's what annoys me. It's like, it's fair enough if keepers are overprotected. Maybe they should be or shouldn't be. That's a different discussion for a different time. But Ederson specifically, and kind of those quick ball playing goalkeepers that take heavy risks, they shouldn't get more protection because they play like that. If anything, if you play like that, you're risking your protection.
Yeah, you're the one who should. Like, that's what separates a good ball playing keeper from a shit ball playing keeper, is that they know how to like alleviate the risks and actually make those passes.
So it was Ederson's decision to make that risky play when he knew Ayew and Edouard were in front of him. Still decides to do it, and it went wrong. He should now have to pay the consequences, and City should have conceded that goal. Yeah,
I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought it was a terrible decision from the keeper and a good bit of play from Palace to be switched on, because it's easy for you when they've got possession, especially with their goalkeeper, for you to switch off and expect the ball just to go down the pitch. 100%. So to keep switched on and to look at the keeper and decipher what he's going to do, it's not a disallowed goal for me. It's a goal every day of the week.
And then at that point, that's 3-0 pretty much going into half time. That's kind of, it's hard. Like, City, probably the only team in the league, maybe Liverpool, that you could see being 3-0 down at half time and get back into it. But
yeah, Bernardo Silva, he does what he does. Maybe one of the most underrated players in the world.
It baffles me that City are even questioning like offers for him. Like, PSG and Barca both want him. I'd be like, apart from like maybe Kevin and Haaland now, he'd be like my mega like, fuck off, you're going nowhere near
Maybe
him.
Cancelo for me.
Yeah, it's just like, he's got so much quality, still of like prime age. I think he's like 26. You've got to be in the squad every single week, mate.
Yeah, he never ever drops a stinker.
No, literally that. He's like 7 or 8 out of 10 every game, and then drops occasional 9s and 10s.
Yeah, but yeah, so he does a nice little bit of play, cuts in from the right and bangs it past the keeper. It's a great goal. And then from then on, it's just the Haaland show.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, to be fair, Foden and him seem to be linking up a lot better this game.
Maybe all those DMs that Foden's been getting saying like, fucking square the ball to Haaland, you can't like getting to him.
Yeah, I mean, so there's one where he's like on the edge of the box and he dinks it in and it lands perfectly for him at the back post. It's phenomenal. Yeah. Haaland's position in the box is terrifying.
He's so good at finding space. I think, obviously, we'll talk about the final goal because the final goal is a joke in its own right, but he's so switched on all the time, which you don't really think you get from like, so he's, I think, what, like 21?
Yeah.
And like, that comes when you get older and your football IQ is like at an elite level and you can find space all the time. You see like of, I don't know, like Dimitar Berbatov and Robin Van Persie, when they get to like,
that's what Harry Kane is. That's why he's so
Harry
good.
Kane is exactly that. You can find space because you've been in those situations like a million times. Whereas Haaland is at the start of his career and he's still so aware of where the space is all the time. It's so good.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. And then, just he was at the back post, taps one in, and then he makes that. The last one is the inside ball, and then he just holds up that both
bodied Joe Ward so hard. So he's running in between both their centre backs. And Gundogan plays a pass, which in my opinion was a little bit late.
Great pass,
and the pass wasn't great. Like, Haaland still had a lot to do because those kind of passes, you want to pass this out in front of you, so all you need to do is first time shot. But he had to take a couple of touches and then shoot. And to take a couple of touches with 2 centre-backs closing in on you is hard unless you're an elite striker, and Haaland is. He bodied Joel Ward and then like kind of pushed off Anderson to get the shot. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Imagine getting bodied by a 21-year-old.
Apparently from a couple of in the know accounts, I don't know how reliable this is, rival Premier League managers have been in contact with each other discussing how to negate Haaland.
Really?
Yeah, like it's been like a collaboration effort. How do we stop this Norwegian machine?
Jesus, that's jokes, because I genuinely, it's like when there was like prime Hazard or prime Sanchez in the Prem.
How do you stop them?
And it's like nobody knew how you'd stop these guys. Haaland's like a whole different beast. It's
because you've got not just this one star player up front, you've got the best midfielder in the league, Kevin De Bruyne, up maybe in the world,
probably
feeding him through. You've got players like Foden and Bernardo Silva, even Ilkay Gundogan, Mahrez, Grealish,
Grealish wants to turn up.
João Cancelo as well. I mean, you've got just like these unbelievable players who could put it on a dime for you every time.
It's just like, Haaland's strong, he's quick, but it's like, how the fuck do you stop that? Do you just specifically put a man on him to man mark him? Because he'd body most man.
It's like he is the unstoppable force in the Premier League now.
Yeah.
But where is the immovable object to stop him?
Yeah.
No one knows.
Me. Get me in at centre back, mate.
But yeah, I mean, he just is like, he might score 40 goals.
Right.
I think the only thing that will stop him from scoring 40 goals is rotation.
Yeah.
Because I know Pep's been saying, like,
he did say
when we get the Champions League games or midweeks even, look at Alvarez will be coming in. Because they brought Alvarez on as well.
And Alvarez is good.
Alvarez will be fantastic as well, yeah.
Going from a team that's scoring goals from fun to a team that can't buy a goal in Aston Villa.
Yeah, this is a sticky one because for me, I actually thought they were the better team. I thought West Ham looked poor.
So they lost 1-0 to West Ham.
They were unlucky because they had a goal early ruled out, but it was offside, but it like gets dinked off the post and then Courtney Howe. Is it Courtney?
No, he's the one that went to.
No, who's the other Donny? Esri Konsa.
Oh yeah,
he managed to tap it in. It was unlucky, but they're in the right positions, but they're basically. They lost to a deflection, basically. It is a good shot from Lanzini, but it does get deflected and Martinez can't get to it.
Even if this was their best game, they've now had 13 Premier League games and I think they've only won 3.
If they fail to win in the next 3, it'll be their worst run of form, I think, since like 1964 or something crazy. Yeah, it's not good.
Unlucky for them. So they've got Arsenal midweek and then they travel up to Man City, or they host in Man City. I can't remember. But for Arsenal and City to be your next 2 games, it's not great.
Gerrard is probably at home right now, just in tears.
For me,
shaking.
His main issue, and I said this on the last podcast, is that he doesn't know his best 11, and you can't be a year in the job and not know your best 11.
He doesn't know his best front 3, which I think is just important. Like, like, how do you watch these players day in, day out and not think, right, these guys have good link up. Actually, he's much better in this system that I'm trying to play. Or against Man City, if you want to play like really wide wingers, why don't you have the likes of Bailly playing out wide, who can actually stretch the play? You know, I mean, some of the decisions are questionable. How do you get the most out of Phil Coutinho?
Yeah, well, like, you brought him in as your star man. He must be on crazy wages. And so you've got to build a team around him. He's got to start every week. You've got to make sure he's dropping 8 or 9s out of 10s every week. When he first started,
he was unreal.
And so you've got to go
what
back.
What were we doing back then?
And look at those games and think, how were we playing that was allowing him to play that
all
well?
His free space. And because against West Ham, he had a couple of shots from outside the area. I think Ollie Watkins doesn't look that bad.
He's such like a hard player to like, Ollie Watkins, because for me, he's got everything about him to be so good. He's so fast, strong, always in the right places.
But his numbers don't match up.
So hungry. But his final product is shit.
Yeah. Danny Ings as well. I mean, he hasn't really ever kicked on since moving to Villa. We're just repeating ourselves, though, because it's the same stuff we say week in, week out.
For me, Gerrard's got to go. You've got to find someone new. There's got to be managers out there that would be an upgrade.
I mean, I don't know who you get. Like, maybe,
that's true.
Maybe it's time for him to go abroad.
Yeah.
Broaden their horizons. Yeah, find someone else. But yeah, West Ham as well. I thought West Ham were poor.
Scamacca started, didn't he?
Scamacca started. They looked better for it, but they were really struggling to stretch the play. Bowen looks like they're still their main man, but he's not producing the output they had last season. I know we're still early on.
I think he was way above
this is their first win of the season.
Yeah.
I think it's their first goal of the season.
Yeah, they needed a win big time.
And it's like Lanzini gets a bit... Was it Lanzini or Fornals? One of them gets a bit of space.
Fornals, yeah.
Yeah, he just gets a bit of space in the middle and takes a pot shot from a bit far out and takes an unlucky deflection and goes in. But yeah, I mean, I'm a bit worried for West Ham that they lacking a lot of... Like, they don't look very sharp. They look like a team who's played 90 minutes 2 days before.
What they have signed, though, is Lucas Paqueta for 50 million, who looks like an unreal player. He starred in the Lyon side that knocked out Man City alongside Bruno Guimaraes. I think them two coming to the Prem. You've seen Bruno Guimaraes has lit it up immediately, and I
maybe
think
that's
Lucas
what they
Paqueta
need though. Is like a bit
could
more,
arguably light it up even more.
A little bit more like techie in the centre of midfield. I mean, they've got like Declan Rice,
nice.
And Declan Rice can allow Paqueta to like push forward and play those sort of like really deep cutting passes.
I think he'll be a really good signing.
I don't know. Ben Rama doesn't look like the player that had that run of form last year. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried for West Ham. I don't know if they have, like, you look at teams like Brighton and Leeds, they look miles and miles above West Ham's level right now. and you just wouldn't expect that coming off of last season.
Yeah,
but it's still early doors.
Yeah, I think that it's a combination of it's still early doors, and because the investment is there. They've signed Skamaka for 40 million, Paqueta for 50 million.
Kind of from PSG.
So the investment's there. David Moyes will get the best out of these players. You just got to give him time. I wouldn't put any pressure on.
The thing is though, maybe it's just a slump coming off last season.
Yeah, exactly.
They had just a horrendous amount of games to play last season.
Yeah, exactly.
And even a break between then and now, it doesn't really get you back to it, because I think they had quite a short preseason as well due to their involvement in Europe. So, I mean, maybe we are just seeing, and hopefully this win can propel them out of that slump. Yeah. And we can get to see the best of Bowen and Skamaka and Declan Rice and all those boys. But
they got a big game against Spurs. So, I mean, if there's ever a game to kick on from, it's a London derby. So, talking of Spurs.
Speaking of Spurs, Nottingham Forest 0 to Spurs.
Love it.
Do you know, I want to start this by saying,
talk to me.
Nottingham Forest, just a round of applause for them. They come out every game, and they play their football. Yeah. They play their football, and I think Morgan Gibbs-White looked really good. Brennan Johnson looked dangerous.
Gibbs-White looked good. Don't know about Brennan Johnson's trim. Have you seen his trim?
It's a little bit stinky.
Not for me. Mate.
A bit overdoing it.
Yeah.
But they looked. I think they looked really good. They looked really dangerous. I think they had an incredible amount of touches in Tottenham's box.
Yeah.
But it was just lacking that sort of penetrating final pass or finding someone in that bit of space where Haaland would be.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it was because I know they started with Lingard and Morgan Gibbs-White and Brennan Johnson. I think Johnson was playing through the middle. You got Awani and Dennis on the bench.
I think you need a more focal point in the middle.
Yeah, course for question. Someone who's going to break the line a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about this result too much, because they had an unfortunate, the bobble. It wasn't a great shot from Kane. I think it just the keeper sends him the wrong way almost, and that bounce takes it away.
It was a good save from Dean Henderson for the pen.
The penalty was just Steve Cook. He did kind of get cooked.
Yeah, clown, mate. I think he's past it.
But they do have
Diakate. I don't know if he was just injured or not playing or whatever. But
yeah, I like Joe Worrell and Scott McKenna. I think they're very good defenders.
Yeah,
I think Nico Williams actually looked really impressive coming down the right hand side.
Everything that Forest are doing, I think they're doing it right, and I think you wouldn't worry. I think going into this season, Spurs game or any game against a bid six, it's not. You don't go in there thinking, "Oh shit, we're going to lose," but you go in there thinking, if we get anything from this game, it's points on top of what we should get elsewhere. It's not these are the points we need to get
to stay up,
exactly,
or even to
But for me, I just want to talk about Spurs. Obviously, well done, good win. It's never easy going away to any team in the Prem, especially a team that's been out of the Prem for so long and who are a big club. So to go to Nottingham Forest and win 2-0 is a good result. But there, in my opinion, are a lot more teams in this league that look more convincing at this point right now than Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like how we talk about Aston Villa. We're reiterating a lot of points. They just look to lack a lot of creativity in the middle. And they go 2-0 up. Well, it was 1-0 up even. And didn't make a change. And I thought, this is the perfect time you bring Basuma on.
Yeah.
You take off Bentancur or even Højbjerg and just you set up a little bit and then just look to hit them on the counter. But yeah, I'm struggling to see why they're so poor going forwards at the minute. I mean, they've scored 2 goals,
Yeah.
And it's just Harry Kane being clinical.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're lucky they've got world-class players. I know Son hasn't kicked on that much this season, but they're lucky they've got world-class players in Harry Kane and Son, because any other team that didn't have those would be struggling. But luckily, Spurs, for me, they started off against Southampton and they battered Southampton, but the first half, it was all Southampton. So you could say that game they weren't overly convincing. The Chelsea game, they got outplayed.
For the entire first half.
This Forest game, I'd say it was close, if not 50-50. And so, yeah, there's no game where they've gone out, and maybe it'll come. Maybe they absolutely batter West Ham from minute 1 to minute 90 next game. But so far, I'd say they haven't looked like a proper dominant top 4 team in any of their games.
Yeah, it's so strange for me because a lot of their players coming through the middle, which is not the way I thought it would be happening. Obviously, they've spent so much money on like wing backs. They've got the likes of Perisic, and I know Emerson Royal's been playing, but they've got like the likes of Jed Spence, and it's kind of like, why aren't you playing to your strengths? Harry Kane's having to come so deep yet again to get the ball to make anything happen.
Yeah.
It just is a bit strange to me. I thought Perisic though has like his delivery is really good.
Yeah, for
he obviously won the penalty off of.
He looks good.
Put it into that.
Apart from Harry
area.
Kane, I'd say Perisic and Kulusevski are my two players for Spurs that I think are up on like top form levels.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I think they need to buck up their ideas. Højbjerg and Bentancur, especially in that midfield, they need to offer more.
Yeah, 100%. Their defence as well was looking shaky. I know you're not a massive fan of any of their defenders.
No, I think there are a lot of people get Perisic in, and I think that's specifically for his attacking potential in fantasy. But I think every game I could see their defence getting pulled around.
I mean, they're going to concede chances.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, it's whether Lloris is up to standard, and I don't think he's that keeper he once was. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Spurs, they're lacking to inspire. I mean, we can talk about Big Richie for a minute as well. Do you know what?
Yeah, where do you stand on the whole
I love
shithousing?
I love shithousery in football. I think the game can be really fucking boring sometimes just because of how, like, not robotic the players are, but like, I like that Ronaldinho flair. My man's doing keepy up. And do you know what? He's come on, and he actually, in the Chelsea game and this game, he has stretched the defence.
Yeah, 100%.
He looks dangerous. I mean, sometimes you question, like, his first touch in a couple of the times have been really poor. But like, he comes on, he gets them rattled up as well, especially if you're winning or you're trying to get back into a game.
I think that's 100%
trying to get their defence rattled and like not fit, like get them to like sort of almost switch on too much and overthink stuff is, you know, a
you
good
just want to
thing.
get in their heads, and he does that so well.
Yeah,
he's in like all the opposition fans' heads, and you can tell he's in all the players' heads because Brennan Johnson's. I like the tackle, but you could tell he was in Brennan Johnson's head when he just came in and clapped
if he turns away from that could be a red card.
Exactly that. And
do you know what I mean?
And like kills the game off completely.
Yeah, exactly. So. And then you're in a good position. You've got a good. I mean, you run the risk of injuring yourself.
Yeah,
but
he's one of those players. You'd love him if he's in your team, but he's just a massive.
I rate it, and I like the fact he's just there doing keepy up. Those
jokes.
Why not, man?
Yeah,
I think that is funny. Like it just. Like, I know if you're your opposition fans, you're getting pissed off because he's making a mockery of you or whatever, but.
Mate, if you're
a neutral, I love to see it. Just because you like to see when it goes wrong as well.
Yeah, 100%. If like your player went in, clattered him, wins the ball back, it's like
then it's good. Yeah, so I don't understand this complaint about it at all.
If it was anyone else, like if you not that Harry Kane would do it because if
it was Son,
everyone would be like,
you wouldn't be getting half the hate he was getting.
But like Richarlison has kind of like that agenda against him, didn't he?
Yeah, it's because he just like the way he's just got like those beady eyes. He's like, I'm gonna come piss you off.
Yeah.
I'm all here for it.
He's a fisherman, isn't he?
I'm all here for it.
Fishes for absolute bite.
But does that round up that
that rounds game up week 4,
Saturday, Sunday's games? Yeah, it does. And moving on to,
should we do our previews for game week 5?
Yeah, we'll get on to our previews. Gonna take a little break.
Yeah,
have to have a look in the magic ball and see what picks we're gonna go for this week.
Yeah, let's do it. Prediction time.
Yes, indeed. Oh, midweek fixtures, man.
Yeah, midweek fixtures.
Midweeks always throw up some surprise results.
They do.
I mean, not like Leeds, Chelsea wasn't a surprise result, or Man United beating Liverpool, or Liverpool beating Bournemouth 9-0. But
there's some good fixtures in here.
Exciting fixtures. There's always good fixtures, man.
We'll start with a London derby.
Crystal Palace versus Brentford. Thomas Frank's Brentford.
Both teams started the season okay. Palace definitely the better of the two. And Palace at home as well. I think it's going to be a struggle for Brentford.
Is Zaha back for this?
So I think he was on the verge of the City game but didn't. So I assume he'll be back for this one.
Or maybe bench.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I'm going to go 2-0 Palace.
I fancy a 3-1 Palace. I think Brentford have enough about to get on the score sheet.
This, for me, coming up, is possibly my fixture to keep an eye on for the weekend.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. Fulham, who have looked really good since coming back to the Premier League, and they're up against, they're at home
to a very strong Brighton team, who are currently undefeated.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
What have I got on this one? I might go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. I like that. I think if it was at Brighton, it would be no doubt about it, Brighton dub. But Fulham, I think coming off the back of that Arsenal result, will probably be a bit fired up. But I think for me, Brighton have got too much quality. I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton.
Yep.
I was tempted to swing 2-1 Fulham, but I think a draw would be a fair result. Moving on to
two teams who
St Mary's
haven't started the season too great, but
Raheem Sterling picking up 2 goals though.
Sterling looked
we didn't
good
actually
last
cover
game.
that game, did we?
No, because there was like a 1-1 draw Wolves game. There was 1-1 in another game, and Chelsea won 2-1. There you go.
Yeah, we go. Now it's covered. But yeah, Chelsea obviously picking up a 2-1 win. That's a hard one. Is this one me or you?
I'll go first. I'm going to go 3-0 Chelsea.
I think I might go for a 2-0.
Okay.
A nice 2-0, yeah.
2-0 to no one, mate. Didn't even say.
2-0 to Chelsea,
Come
yeah.
on, okay, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard game.
Leeds Everton, though. This is a good game. Everton drew 1-0 against Forest.
Anthony Gordon on the score sheet again.
Yeah, will he still be there by the end of the window, which ends on
Thursday at 11 p.m.
So we'll do something, a little transfer window roundup and stuff. But yeah, will Anthony Gordon still be there this time next week? Who knows? But they're playing Leeds.
I'm going to go for I might go for a 1-0 Everton.
1-0 Everton, that is a surprise result. And like you said, you can't always guarantee midweek fixtures because there could be rotation. People just like it's during this not like a 3 o'clock.
I've decided just to
late in the
fuck
evening.
it off and just go for a wacky prediction. I think it's my wacky prediction for the
So
week.
I like that, but I think Leeds are they got too much, and Everton, I'm not sold on them whatsoever. So I'm going to go 3-1 Leeds.
3-1 Leeds.
Yes.
Mad. Moving on to Wednesday's fixtures, the mighty Arsenal,
The boys
up against your favourite club in the league, Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa.
Yeah.
At the Emirates. What you got on this one?
Arsenal under the lights, mate. There's nothing like it. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
2? Only 2?
Yeah. We do always, up until maybe last season where we did double over them, we had struggled against Villa quite a lot. Like Martinez, as soon as he joined Villa, every game he'd just pull out like an absolute worldie and be like the best player on the pitch. So
that's a good point.
I'm a little bit like cautious whenever we play Villa, but I reckon 2-0.
I'm going to go for I know you say they can't buy a goal. I might go for a 3-1 Arsenal.
Nice. Okay.
I think Ollie Watkins might come back to haunt you.
He does play well against us, but he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Oh, this might be a bit of a stinky
Bournemouth,
one.
fresh off a 9-0 thumping.
I'm going to go 10-0 Wolves.
So they got Wolves visiting.
Wolves really struggling around like
the box.
Just Jimenez not doing it basically. No. I know he scored a goal that was ruled out for a foul.
Yeah.
I think I might go 2-0 Wolves.
2-0 Wolves, yeah. You've got to hope Bournemouth, for the love of God, do something, because I think
they're going to go defensive.
If they don't pick up results, they're going to start falling so far behind the pack. I know they got a win on their first day against Villa, but they need to start like changing the tide, because they conceded 4 against City, then 3 against Arsenal, then 9. They don't want to continue this. They need to get a goal. So I'm going to go 1-1.
1-0.
I hope for Bournemouth's sake they score a goal.
I think
they keep getting thumped and not scoring.
Guedes and Nunes and Neto, they look really good this weekend, but like obviously they didn't have that like finisher in the box ready for them. Moving on, Man City up against the champions of Europe. Not the former champions of Europe.
Have you seen all those memes where it's like all the teams that have won like a European competition, and then like Man City is like, so it's like Homer Simpson in the bar surrounded by loads of people that are all the other teams, and it's like, what do all these teams have in common? And it's just Man City sitting.
I saw a tweet. It was like, we should kick all the Forest and Villa fans out of the champions of Europe chats.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I don't know if Haaland's going to start.
Hope for God he does, because I've captained him on fantasy.
Yeah. I think
it's hard to drop him after a hat trick.
Yeah, I think he'll want it. Like maybe he'll get 60 minutes or something, but that's easy enough time to do what he needs to do. I think this might be like a 3-1 or maybe a 3-0. Man City's defense hasn't looked as it has a couple years.
Yeah,
last couple of years
hasn't looked tough.
Yeah, I think I might go for a 3-1 to Manchester City.
Okay, I'm gonna go. So I saw a stat, and it was that Nottingham Forest have conceded the highest XG so far in the season. And so for that reason alone, I'm going to go 4-0 City.
4-0, yeah. I can see it happening.
Yeah.
Not 9?
Not 9, but that'd be
anything
nice.
Liverpool could do, City can do better.
Yeah, that's true. They do have that little kind of
But they're not playing Bournemouth.
tit for tat. Yeah. Another London derby.
This might be the biggest game of
this will be big.
Because West Ham really need to kick on after that result. Like you said, we weren't totally convinced by any of Spurs' performances this season apart from against Southampton.
Both of these teams need a good performance in this game.
And what better time to do it than in their most heated derby?
So I'm going to go, I reckon, I was going to say 2-1 Spurs, but I don't know if I've got enough chest to back that. Yeah, 2-1 Spurs.
I reckon it's going to be... I'm just not convinced by West Ham. I think it might be like a 3-0 Spurs.
Oh!
It might be 3-0 to Spurs.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Well, come Wednesday evening, we'll know.
No, I don't like it because I don't want Spurs to win 3-0 and have like a good performance. I like the chest behind that shout.
Liverpool, fresh off a 9-0 battery. Have we said that enough today?
9
goals. Will Mo Salah do it against Newcastle United back at Anfield?
Getting out of my fantasy team.
What are you going for, Roz?
Newcastle are good.
Newcastle are good.
Unlike who we were talking about, Spurs in West Ham, where I haven't been convinced by any game they've played. Newcastle, pretty much every game they've played, I've been like, yeah, they're a good team. Like, even if they lose, I'm like, yeah, they played all right.
Saint-Maximin hit that disgusting volley.
Yeah. And so I think Liverpool might get carried away with that 9-0 and then get a taste of reality when Newcastle visit.
What are you saying?
I'm going to go for a 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. Maybe Isaac getting involved.
Yeah, that's a shout, actually. Didn't even think of that. Especially because Wilson's injured now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he could actually get a start, which would be nice because you don't want to...
Chris Wood started up front.
You don't want to line up against Liverpool with Chris Wood as your striker.
I mean, he might do like
a
flip-flap around Van Dijk.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go 4-0 Liverpool.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4-0 Liverpool. I fancy Salah to get a goal or 4.
I'd love it if he got 4.
Yeah, I just think... I don't know. This is Nunez's last game suspension.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jota will be back, but I can't see them dropping Bobby Firmino. Yeah, I just think Liverpool will kick on from the last result. I can't imagine Klopp was very happy with the way they started the season.
Yeah.
Set a precedent against Bournemouth, and they've got to keep it up now.
Yeah, I like that. Last game to round it up, Thursday. Leicester hosting Man United.
This is a hard one because Leicester are shit.
This is hard because Leicester are fucking crap.
But how good are United?
Yeah,
that's the
and
question.
my answer to that is not very, because they played against a Liverpool team who looked shit and a Southampton team that looked shit. Fair enough, they got 2 wins.
Was that down to Man United being good, or was it just them two being shit?
Being shit.
Leaning towards the latter, yeah. This is a hard one. I think if Casemiro starts, it could change it for me. But I think I might go for like a 1-0 United.
Yeah, I think United will win it. I think Leicester, I want them to get something out of this game. I actually don't mind Leicester, but they just look devoid of ideas completely.
Devoid of ideas, devoid of quality. Kieran Dewsbury Hall better than Salah.
Yeah, shout out the guys on the train.
Yeah, the guys on the train. We were sat by some guys on the train, and just every 30 seconds, they just pointed to them and go, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, is he better than Messi?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But not for this game, I'm afraid. I'm going to go 2-0 Man United.
2-0, I've gone for a 1-0. Well,
yeah.
That wraps up our predictions.
What's this, episode 18, I think? Yeah.
It must be, yeah.
We got a competition that we're going to extend because we've got a big old prize.
We've been approached for some cruddiness, so we are extending it. Through to the first international break.
Yes, so basically we had a YouTube competition where if you're subscribed and comment on individual videos of ours, 1 comment equals 1 entry. The more you comment, blah, blah, blah. And then so it was meant to be the end of last game week, we would announce a winner for the mystery shirt. But we're going to extend it to the first international break because we've got a special prize. And so you've got a couple more weeks to get involved. Comment in any YouTube video.
Or all of them.
Like
we said, every comment you leave on every YouTube video. So you get 1 comment per video. That'll give you an extra entry. So just you can go through all our videos from the first time we announced the competition and leave a comment, and you'll probably have like, I don't know, like 10 entries into the
Exactly
giveaway.
that.
But yeah, get entering. It's a bang up prize anyway. So but yeah, make sure you're subscribed as well, because we will be contacting the winner through YouTube. Yeah. But yeah, I think about rounds it up for this week.
Really, subscribe to the socials.
It's not been the longest episode, but we just no waffling today.
No waffling today, especially because we're back again in literally like 2 days' time.
Yeah. So yeah, enjoy the midweeks, guys. It's been BoreDraw.
It's been live.
And it's live. Thank you, guys.